come up. Please come up. And also, we want to make sure we bring also Wei, our brother, to pull up as well to come to the stage. Yep. Yeah. This is all the local community leaders that are doing amazing work to serve our community, to serve our great city of Philadelphia, and all politics start local. That's right. And Indonesian is in the house. We want to acknowledge the leaders as well too. All of the Asian American communities coming here to make sure that we get our first, South Asian African American woman to present. Can we also invite Erika to come up as well to the stage as well too? Erika. And also Nicole to come up as well too. You to come up as well to the stage for remarks. And also Julie Sue as well too. Man, please come. Yeah. Kat's gonna take the mic, but we want to acknowledge our local leaders here as well too. Here you go, Kat. And you. Oh, and Peng Sing and Jenny, come up. Dave, come up too. And also Mr. Sahid as well to come up, sir.
Okay, thank you, Naran, who himself is a great leader here in Philly. Oh, thank you. My name is Kat New, and I will be your MC for this rally. Who is ready to get out the vote? 3 more days. So thank you all for being here, for helping us to canvass, to help us knock on doors, to get out the vote with our Cambodian American and other Southeast Asian leaders. This rally is hosted by Cho and then the DNC AAPI caucus chair, Baliang Hong. It's for our Southeast Asian community and business leaders. And so it is my pleasure. Thank you very much for the warm welcome to Philadelphia. I'm from California. I flew here because that's what my heart called me to do. I am surviving breast cancer right now, and every day I wake up and I want to do something meaningful, something positive. So here I am in Philly, helping to get out the vote here. And we have a great lineup of speakers here that you will hear from. So first, it's my honor to introduce the Honorable Nani A, Philadelphia City Councilmember and Chair of the Pennsylvania Democratic Party AAPI Caucus.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here. Good to see you. I just came from Montgomery County. And some people were there already. Like, they were out canvassing in big numbers. So we gotta show up and show out, right? Yeah. So thank you all. So many people are here from out of state. I see friends we've worked with before. I see DeWita, I see Rose, and I'm sure there are other people in the audience. Thank you for being here. We have just a few more days to go, and we need to deliver the 19 electoral votes of Pennsylvania. That is the path to the White House. It goes right through here, right through South Philly. So I want to thank all the leaders who are here. Appreciate all the hard work they've been doing. If you go down the streets, you're going to see Harris signs all over the stores. And that is my friend, my brother from another mother. Where's Naren? Where's Naren? Yeah. Well, that young man has been mobilizing for a long time. I need to recognize him because he's always behind the lens. Get up here, make sure people see you. He's a young father, he's a small business owner, and he's been an activist and advocate all his life. He's been working so very hard. I am so proud to stand next to him. And he and Mr. Horchu, and where's Feng Seng? Oh, come on up. Listen, these are the folks. And most importantly, Jenny Nam. All here in our personal capacity, so let's be clear, we're doing this on our own time. She's a very trusted source in my own office, right, in City Council. So this is the face. There are many others, but these are the folks who've been rallying everybody, putting all this together. all doing it out of love and making sure we save our democracy. We are immigrants to this country, many of us, or children of immigrants. The threat that Donald Trump poses is very real. He's looking to deport us. Let me be clear. If you're not a white immigrant, no, I'm not going to hold bar at all. If you're not a white immigrant, he's going to look at the denaturalization process. There's an office in the Justice Department already set up in 2020 that he's going to activate if you let him back in. He's going to use the Alien Sedition Act of 1789 to remove anybody he deems to be a threat to our security. That's what he'll say. So make no mistakes, this has been done before. Remember the Japanese internment. People lost their homes, their families, their businesses. Japanese Americans born here. That was an executive order by the president that allowed that to happen. Shame, that's a shame. Our country is just 1 degree away from being xenophobic. And we have to fight it. And the way we fight it is by telling them that we matter, we have work, and our votes speak loudly for us. So make no mistake, there's a plan for mass deportation. Remember that, all of you. Don't think that you got naturalized all the right way. That doesn't matter. Because if you have your Supreme Court, if you have the presidency, and if you have the House or the Senate or both, we're in trouble. So don't forget to vote down ballot. Make sure you get Senator Casey back. Make sure we add to a congressional congressional group in Pennsylvania. We have a chance to get few more. Make sure you vote for your state senator, state representative. Make sure you vote for everybody down ballot. Don't stop, because that's how we're going to keep the power, and that's how we're going to save our democracy. There's a lot more speakers after me, so I'm going to hand it back. Thank you, and thank you to all our visitors. A lot of friends in the back. I'm not going to mention everybody's name. Thank you for doing this. Keep up the good fight. Few more days, we can do it. Will we deliver?
Yes.
Will we deliver?
Yes.
All right, when we vote,
We win.
when we vote,
We win.
Thank you so much from our local leaders for welcoming us today. I also wanted to say that I am the national co-chair for Promoted Americans for Harris-Walz, and we have a chant. And we have a chant that translates, when we fight, we win. So I'm going to teach it to you. When we fight is Belyung Prayut, and when we win is Young Chnap. So when I say Belyung Prayut, you say Young Chnap. Belyung Prayut, Young Chnap. Belyung Prayut, Young Chnap. All right, so it is my pleasure to welcome someone I have worked with for the last 15 years, also the highest ranking Cambodian American working in our federal government right now, Keo Chea.
It's very fitting. If you know Khmer, Keo means cup or glass, so thank you. Again, my name is Keo Chea. I live here in Philadelphia. I joined my husband about 4 years ago. I'm originally from Washington, well, not from Washington, D.C. I lived in Washington, D.C., where I currently serve in the Biden-Harris administration as the highest serving Cambodian American. I'm honored to be here today among my community. I came to this country in 1981 as a refugee myself. My parents survived the genocide in Khmer and in Cambodia, which is what brought us here. Early on, I learned how hard it was as a refugee in this country. We didn't have housing, we didn't have food, we didn't have a community that supported us. We had to do all of this on our own. About 10 years after we arrived, my parents opened up a small business. They weren't home very much, and because of that, my brother got in trouble with the law. And it was not a long time before he got picked up by the police, and he was arrested on his 18th birthday, and eventually was arrested by ICE. So I have lived through the trauma of deportation in my own family as a Cambodian American. And I decided I was going to go to law school, and I was going to fight back and try to save my brother, save my community, provide the resources that were not available to me when I first came to this country. And now what I see, in terms of who's in the White House now and who will hopefully be there come Tuesday, is Madam Vice President Kamala Harris. I believe she stands for the communities that we all come from. She also came from Oakland, where I originally lived at. I went to law school, the same law school she went to. I really believe in the path that she has taken and that she has seen the path that we have all been on. And she represents our people, our community, and our rights. So that's why I'm here today. And I really hope that you, your community, you tell a friend, you tell family, please come out and vote on Tuesday. It is so important. We need somebody who will protect us. And I can be deported. So my life depends on it. And I think everybody here should think about that. You know, we are here to save our community. So thank you. Thanks for coming out. Thanks to all the speakers that came from DC and the long trek you made. You know, this is a huge honor. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Cal. So we are in the heart of Cambodia town. Why is it the heart? This is where we live. This is where we pray. This is where we play. This is where we own businesses. So I would like to introduce our next speaker, Dilawar Syed, who is a longtime business leader himself. He is the highest ranking Muslim American in our federal government right now. And he is also known our vice president and presidential candidate, Kamala Harris, for years now. So let's give it up for Dilawar Syed.
Thank you so much, Kat. Great to be back in Philly. I went to school here, so I have a lot of good memories. And Nina, I will mention you that you and I have been campaigning together since 2016 in the city. So I'll say a couple of things. One, we've heard the Vice President talk about her to-do list. It's very important that we are clear, what is she going to do for you, for your family? She's talked about expanding this opportunity economy for all of us. She's talked about a very specific plan to build more homes, to have a deduction that goes towards a down payment so there is more home ownership. She's talked about making sure we strengthen Affordable Care Act. Many in the AAPI communities have multiple generations. You've got your elderly, you've got your children on your insurance, making sure that you get to keep that. These are all things that are fundamental to making sure that you can live, thrive, and your families do well. That is her to-do list. So all of us who have a to-do list on our weekends, we're in this mode of checking, once we get things done. That's the mode she will be in come January 2025. So it's very important that you keep in mind that she's coming into the office with her priorities being very single-mindedly focused on your well-being. Now, Donald Trump's to-do list, you don't want to be on that list. So it's very clear what this is about. Second, we talked about democracy. It is absolutely true that democracy is on the ballot. And let me be very clear. Our rights and our sense of fairness and equality in this country is on the ballot. You remember in 2016, the Muslim ban. He talked about that and he implemented it. This time he's talking about expanding the ban, called it 2.0, expanding the list of countries to it. And I still remember the chaos it created. I was in San Francisco at the time, working in the tech sector. People were flying in; they couldn't get into the country because they were from a certain country or they had parents coming in. We don't want to see that chaos in our country again. And not to speak of the mass deportations that we are hearing about, that he absolutely intends to execute. And finally, let me say this. You mentioned that I've had the privilege to know the Vice President, have served with her for a very long time. She is one of us. She's one of us. She sees you as communities. She sees Thai Americans. She sees Cambodian Americans. She sees Vietnamese Americans. She respects you. She respects you. So when the President respects you, that means she's going to do everything possible in her power to make sure your lives are improving. That's a contrast between her vision, her heart, and the other side. So we know that this community, in this city, in this state, will decide the election. We are at the cusp of making history of electing a first woman president. That hasn't happened in this country. And the first Asian American and an African American woman president. So thank you for doing everything we can the next 3 days. This history. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you. So who's in the house? Can I hear who's the Chinese Americans in the house? All right. We got Cambodian Americans for Harris in the house. All right, we gotta do that again. Cambodian Americans for Harris, are you in the house? Hmong Americans for Harris, you in the house? All right, yeah, Filipino Americans for Harris. All right, that's good to know because we have the one and only Nani Coloretti, who is the highest ranking Filipino American in our federal government right now. Get up for Nani.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hello, Philadelphia! I love Philadelphia. I already told this story, but I'm gonna tell it again. In case you weren't here earlier, I came to Philadelphia at age 18 to go to college here. I did not know what I was getting myself into. I packed my 2 bags and showed up at the airport, and thank God my roommate was an immigrant. She was Vietnamese American, and she brought her 3 brothers and their car, and they shoved my bags in there and took me to our college, and that's how I got there. And ever since, I have always loved Philadelphia, and I love being here. So I just want to say a couple things just to double down on what Dilawar said, which is in Kamala Harris, we have a clear choice. We have somebody who is going to be looking out for you and your interests versus somebody who is going to be looking out for himself. So he said she has a to-do list when she gets into the White House, and we know that Donald Trump has a list of enemies that he wants to extract revenge on when he gets to the White House. So that's very clear. But in terms of how is she gonna do her work? Well, she's gonna do it by listening to people. She's gonna do it by listening even to people that don't agree with her. And she is also gonna be doing it by representing communities. And so for policies that she has, that she's thinking about, whether it's in childcare or helping people care for their parents using Medicare, which is a policy she rolled out recently. It's really interesting and very helpful for multi-generational families. She's gonna do those policies by listening to the communities who are affected by the policies. Okay, that's the difference. And I've worked for 3 presidents now, and I can see the difference whenever I work for someone who cares about community and cares about hearing from people and hearing from people who are affected by the policies that they're proposing and that they're implementing. So I just want to say it is time to vote. If you have not voted already, make a plan to vote. If you have made a plan to vote and you've already voted, get your friends to vote. Pennsylvania is critical. It is not called this Keystone State for nothing. It is the Keystone State. And we have to work very hard. It's a very close race. It's very close, too close for comfort. So I hope you are going to knock on doors as I will be this afternoon. And I hope you get everyone that you know here and in all across the country to vote for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. So I actually heard Nani speak a couple weekends ago in Nevada, and she said that democracy, fighting for our democracy, is a contact sport. She got us fired up. She got us ready to go. So, are you fired up? Yeah. So, give it up for our next speaker, Erika Moritsugu, former Assistant Secretary for the Department of Housing and Urban Development. Keep it going.
Aloha, y'all. Aloha! Now that might seem a little out of place in the Keystone State, but aloha is always welcome, especially in the sisterly and brotherly love city, because this is a place of belonging and inclusion that is just an honor to be a part of. And thank you for welcoming us here as your visitors. Also want to just thank Jenny and Peng for the other honorees today, and for Mr. Hora and Mabel, who hosted this amazing thing. When we talk about being in the heart of Cambodia town, Mabel had mentioned this over at the temple earlier, but in 2016, we had occasion to be here for campaign, and it was my first occasion to actually be able to meet with the Cambodian community here. And since then, it's been my personal and professional journey, obligation and honor to learn more about the heroic and courageous refugee story, to learn about the triumphs and the contributions that this community, the Southeast Asian community, has made to not just the history of the United States, but also to the local communities. The fear and terror of deportation, which is very, very unique, and then also the beautiful community that you knit together. So this Cambodia town, 6th, 7th, 8th Street, looks very different than it did in 2016, and it is because of you and the power that you wield, and it is just awesome. I wanted to just kind of underscore that it's been the leaders that, like who, like Vice President Harris and Governor Walz, who really see and honor and value the diversity in our communities. And it's going to sound a little bit strange, and it's not going to be illegal for me to reference the fact that I've actually had conversations with them about how the beauty of smaller communities that are even on the margins of margins need to be uplifted and celebrated. And so that is kind of our charge and our commitment to you. I'm excited to be here today working with all of you to elect Vice President Harris and Governor Walz to be at the top of the ticket to move into the White House in January. This is the most consequential election of our lifetime. And I say that as somebody who's like really, really old, and so I've done a lot of these elections, but this one matters. But we've known from the beginning that this one is going to be a close one. You know, for the fifth largest city in America and the battleground state with the most electoral college votes. It's also an honor for us from wherever we're coming from, California or Washington, D.C. and Connecticut and beyond, you know, glamorous Connecticut, I'm calling you out. But it's to honor you and your vote and the importance of Philadelphians' vote and to empower and uplift you. And that is our mission today as we set off to make sure that we get everybody voting and those votes are counted. I'll be here through Wednesday and beyond to make sure that we've got a fair, safe and election as one of your election protection lawyers. And it is an honor, again, to share this space with you. Mahalo nui loa. Just a second. Because when we dream, we win. When we vote, we win. When we fight, thank you, and just go out and get there. We've got a lot of work to do because Young Chna. It is my personal goal to be teaching Khmer words to everybody. So Young Chna means we win. So Pelion for it. Young Chna. Yes, okay. So it is next up, it is my pleasure to introduce a California sister, a longtime leader in labor and immigrant rights, the Honorable Julie Su.
Thank you so much. All right, I know you guys are ready to get out there, so I'm just gonna say a couple of very, very quick things. The first is that I'm the daughter of immigrants too, so I get how immigrants and immigrant families often feel a little bit like America is not fully ours and that we are not truly of America. And there is no more exciting thing than to be able to elect a president who knows our story, who has lived our story, and who believes that America is big enough and beautiful enough for all of us. So this election is gonna come right through this community, your community. What you guys are doing, knocking on doors, is gonna make all the difference in the world. Do you know how many doors were knocked on this morning before 11 a.m. here in Pennsylvania? 53,000. That's right. So people have already talked about, you know, why, the other candidate is such a threat to everything that we are and everything that we care about. I think what's important to remember is that a lot of times in elections, you don't know what the other candidate is gonna do once he gets elected. But we know exactly what he's gonna do when he gets elected. He's already been there. So we have a chance to elect somebody who is going to build the America that we all deserve, who's gonna let us help to build that, who's gonna acknowledge what we've all done and our communities have done to build it. And I'm just gonna say that to all of you right now, there is no more powerful way to demonstrate how American we are than to get out there and vote. And to demonstrate that our community is the margin of victory when we send Kamala Harris to the White House. So thank you for everything you are doing to make that happen, and let's get it done. We just got a few more days.
Thank you, Julie. Okay, so we started local with our council member, Nina Ahmad, right here. We're gonna close out local with Jenny Nam. Give it up, y'all, Philly! Let's break this down on local terms, right? Eye level, as my brother Norun would say. Look, this is Jenny Nam. Off the clock, I do represent City Council with Dr. Nina Ahmad.
I love her to death. Why? She is bringing our community to the table, right? If y'all, let's go back in the times. Millennials, people who came back in the 80s, the 90s. What did we have to deal with? Bullies, being targeted at school, fighting just so that we can be in the school. I don't understand why we continue to have these same patterns that we have to continue to fight and struggle, and we never belong. Do you remember COVID? Yeah. COVID was another one. It was Kung Fu virus. Do you guys remember that? Yeah. So that all attacked who? All of our Asian folks. Again, we had to fight. We held our own rallies. We went to FDR and we said, damn it, we belong right here. This is our land too. But we also need to remember though, I'm gonna hold all of my Cambodians people accountable. I don't see much here in the space. I'm gonna be real with you. I'm disappointed, right? This is the time when we need to be in these places, demanding for our rights, fighting for each other, unifying solidarity, right? This is a diverse crowd. I appreciate you guys from the bottom of my heart for coming in, showing up, being in place, being intentional, okay? I also want to say, like, as far as this is FDR is another sign of, you know, what is that word? Demarginalized. We're being pushed out all areas of the city, right? We don't have a voice. But I can tell you right now, we are in the space. We have to make sure we are moving forward. We're no longer going back. Every time I hear that word, my body is my choice, I tear up. I was once that girl too. It's not easy to have somebody tell you what you can and cannot do with your body. So as a young first immigration American, please go out and vote. Do not let this monster tell what we can and cannot do. I mean, I need more people in the room. I'm sending that message all to you, and please take that back home. Bring it to the city. Let's take it to the States. We're gonna take over DC. Let's go.
Let's do it. It starts by knocking on doors. So, to close us out, we are, as my sister Chea over there, she coined the term romvong to the polls. So we're gonna romvong to the campaign office to go get our precinct packet and start knocking on doors. It's gonna be led by Ms. Chea, and romvong means to dance. So Narun and Chea, lead the romvong. Here we go. All right, let's go. Romvong to the polls.